TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop, come on, take me higher.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the afternoon, early evening, wherever you are across this fine land. For the closing bell, special guest, good friend and colleague, Mr. Andrew McInnis, figured, hey, the start of hockey, who better to bring in to talk some pucks, props, and thoughts than the one and only Mr. Andrew McInnis at McInnis Picks at WagerTalk. But first, of course, a shout out to our proud sponsor and partnerships. It's Viva Tequila Seltzer, CT Bets, team, family, second to none. Go try yourself an adult beverage. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. New beverage, try it. WagerWire. If you have not downloaded that app, head over to Google Play. It's free. I promise it'll be one of the most used apps you will be using the rest of 2024 and beyond. Travis, Zach, myself, Amber, Jay, the rest of that team will take great care of you. And of course, our newest sponsor, Atlanta Steak and Seafood, Mr. Terry Smith. Get yourself introduced to Terry Smith. Jump on over to Facebook, follow Terry on Facebook at Terry Smith, then go follow Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Any order placed this week, use the promo code STRIP, get $25 off any box of steaks. I will promise you, your mouth will be watering, as I have actually a New York strip that we just had. Of course, I can't eat it because I got a show to do, but we'll get to that. So anyways, without further ado, Mr. Andrew McInnis. What's up, chap?
Long time no see, my friend. How are we?
We're doing great. How are you?
Hey, we're getting closer and closer to puck drop. First game. For some reason, they gave the Seattle crowd an early game in the afternoon where they are, but for me, it's a dinner time game, so I'm happy with that.
We got a couple games in Prague. ECSI 1-0 in the NHL start. Game one, we had the New Jersey Dean Devils team total over 3.5 plus 110, 115. Scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and I'm looking at the full game, and it was 4.5. Yet the Sabres side was plus 3.5. At like minus 170. So I'm doing the basic math and I'm like, okay, we're going to need one here from the Sabres. And of course we get one from the Sabres, and we'll want to know this year, Andrew, on the empty net. The empty net seals the deal. Jersey comes back 3-1 to take game 2. So they're 2-0 to start the year. I know a lot of us high on the Devils. Thoughts after 2 games? Granted, just in Prague, we haven't played a real home or away game there. Thoughts on both teams?
You know, Jeff, the first thing that comes to my mind when you ask me about the New Jersey Devils is through 2 games, 2-0, right? And you know what? Their top players didn't even dominate the score sheet. That's a dangerous thing. You know how I talk in every sport about depth. Well, I think that's the biggest question mark surrounding that team. Do they have that secondary scoring? And if you were a prop bettor in the first game, you were not happy. 4 goals, obviously, we got that empty net goal. And, the Jack Hughes of the world, the Nico Heisters of the world, the Timo Meyer, the top guys. It's like betting anytime touchdown scores in the NFL, and you got the third tight end scoring the touchdowns, right? But from a fan perspective, if you're from an analyst perspective, you got to love it for the New Jersey Devils. They haven't even shown their cards yet, Jeff, and they're 2-0. From the Sabres perspective, I'll take a deep breath on them. They're going to be okay. My biggest thoughts on them, even though we just did see 2 games go under, is that there's going to be a point where they have to sacrifice defense for offense. They're going to have defensemen jump into the rush to help their offense out. And when that happens, I can't tell you exactly when it's going to happen, but when it happens, we're going to see some high-scoring games out of that team. They're going to have to sacrifice some potential odd man rushes the other way for odd man rushes, in their favor, because I think their defensemen are so talented offensively, they need to help out the forward group a little bit. But everyone's high on this Devils team, and everybody's high on the Nashville Predators. We'll see if both those teams can live up to the hype going into the season.
I have to ask you this. 6.5, we will see 7s, let's say Edmonton at Calgary, or, you'll see some 7s somewhere with Edmonton at the Avs or something like that. I'm looking at today's board, and I see 5.5, 5.5, and a 6. They did push St. Louis to a 6 at the Circa. 5.5s. That's playoff hockey, Andrew. The books enticing us to say, hey, 3-3, you're a winner, guys. Come on, what's 6 goals here? It's almost like, are they enticing us to bet the overs when you really know you should be betting unders to start here?
It is interesting. Like you always tell me, Jeff, try and think about what they're trying to get you to do, because and DraftKings has been bumping around a little bit. FanDuel showing us some different things. Right now at DK, I'm seeing 6, 6, and 6, and it's funny because like I keep saying to people all day long, I do think that that 5.5 was there for a reason in the Bruins and Panthers game, right? I get it. It's not the playoffs. It's not Stanley Cup finals. It's not round 2. But those teams don't like each other. Those teams are both responsible defensive teams that I just am a big firm believer that both the Panthers and the Bruins, if they're up 3-1, it wouldn't shock me if that game ended 3-1, right? Like they are not the type of team to keep pouring it on you versus some other teams will continue to run that score up as much as they can. But you're right. And I think you look at, earlier this morning, you and I were discussing the Kraken Blues game. And look, we don't want to get too cute here, but something tells me that we could see one of those teams hit their team total, but the game go under. I could be wrong, but one team will contribute to the scoring. Is it going to be a Blues upset? Who knows? Is it going to be the Kraken getting to 4? Who knows? But that's the beauty of the team totals, is that it doesn't mean the full game is going to go over the total.
And for Bruins fans, we'll get to that game. 7:07 start, overnight 145, now 157. Coach was not going to tip his hand who was starting in net. Locals said that Korpisalo was the first one off the ice there. So the assumption is that Swayman will, be able to sit in the corner wondering if he's going to be able to hug his new goalie at the end of the game here and count his money, his, 8.25 per. But going to go right to Seattle and St. Louis for you. 130 opener, now 146 with a 133. Puck drops in 27 minutes. 5.5 over, 25 cents now is 6 minus 20. Team totals for you, Andrew, are, survey said, let me pull that up for you. Come on, mouse. Here we go. St. Louis, 2.5 over minus 120, 3.5 under minus 135 for Seattle. So the gerbil's wired. There's only 2 ways here. Of course, I could take Seattle team total over 3.5 plus 115 instead of laying the 146 or the 150 at Superbook. I try to get cute here a few times and it doesn't work out well. St. Louis team total under 2.5. They don't get to 3 at plus 100. But the board is yours here, Andrew. Take it away.
Yeah, Jeff, you're getting me fired up. You're getting me fired up. Like, I'm on my second coffee of the day. I'm probably more fired up in my head than I look right now, energy-wise. But hearing you say, and then looking at the DraftKings screen and seeing that clock ticking down 20 minutes, I'm pumped. I got a CFL show in a half an hour, and I'm going to go to the grocery store, get something nice for dinner, and make it, and then watch the games for the next 6 hours after that. So I can't wait. But, I like what you said there about the under 2.5, and that's something important to mention as well. You and I aren't just team total over guys. We'll mix in the unders as well, and I really do think, Jeff, to start the season off, that could be something that we could put our heads together and try and find some good spots. It's almost like next step contrarian, next level. Everyone else is joining us on the team total overs. We're going to say, forget about it. We'll take the team total unders on that one. If it's cool with you, Jeff, jumping into the prop market for a second,
Sure.
Looking at this Seattle Kraken team, one thing that I keep on repeating about this Seattle team, just pulling up their lines here so I don't make any mistakes. They kind of are one of those teams that they don't have any one player that's going to knock your socks off any night, but they have several players that are going to make plays. You know what I mean? Like, there's not those guys that I'm going to like text you and be like, wow, did you see that goal? But there's going to be a bunch of guys that are going to be able to make something happen. And because of that, there's going to be guys you're going to be able to get pretty good prices on to make plays, and I think that there's a guy, Matty Beniers, he's plus 105 to get a point. Now, you take a look at a guy that's the first line center playing with Jared McCann and Jordan Eberle, and then you look at the first power play unit, and he's right there in front of the net. So, it kind of reminds me from the Habs perspective when it was Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Uri Slafkovsky, because Beniers is very young as well, just like Slafkovsky. And the guys next to them are minus 175, 180 to get a point. And yet they're on the same line with this other guy, and he's plus 105 to get a point. And we're talking about different ways to avoid. I know you're a fan of the plus money. When you look at some of these bets, who's going to pass to those guys to score a goal? Who's going to pass it to Beniers? And Beniers, he won the Calder Trophy 2 years ago. Let's not forget. Last year, bit of a down year for him. Obviously, the younger guys coming in, doing really well. But I like him to have a good game here, Jeff. And I think that based on that plus 105, you would think, well, what line is he on? The third or second line here? You're giving me a first line player at plus 105. I find that one pretty interesting. I'm curious about Shane Wright, because Dan Bylsma, who's the new head coach of the Kraken, he actually coached Shane Wright in the AHL. And, of course, Bylsma, a great coach. He won Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins. But Shane Wright, he was supposed to be a number 1 overall pick, a top 3 pick. He still went super high up there. When I look at the shots on goal prop, I think he should be someone that we should consider to look at. But there's a guy in the St. Louis Blues I have my eye on, and this is my plus money price of the play of the day. I got a couple other plus money plays for you, but this one's real nice. Pavel Buchnevich, try saying that one 10 times fast. Plus 140 to get to 3 goals. Plus 140 to get to 3 goals here. This is going to be a Blues team that struggles defensively. I'm not even worried about the Blues offensively, Jeff. I really am not. It's the Blues defensively that will help us get to 4 goals if we decide to play the Kraken over 3.5. Buchnevich will be a guy that's not really, I'm not saying he doesn't pass the puck, but when he gets the puck, he's ready to shoot. So plus 140 for Buchnevich over 2.5. And I do lean towards that team total over 3.5. I'm just not sure I'm going to get to the window with it.
Great breakdown as always there. We go to Florida Stanley Cup champs. I think they postponed Monday's ceremony due to income in Milton here. Boston comes in plus 143 right now at the Circa. Florida minus 157 with a 5.5 juiced over, minus 25 cents. Bruins team total 2.5 over, minus 120. And again, Florida 3.5 juiced under, minus 135. Ditto to what I said to the first game. You could get cute and take the Bruins team total under 2.5 plus 100, or you can have Florida team total over 3.5 plus 115 there. And you don't have to lay the 157 if you like Florida. You don't have to do the puck line and hope for an empty netter. But again, the stage is yours.
I appreciate it, Jeff. And we talked earlier. I told you I like the Bruins here tonight. And there's a lot of strong stats and trends that point towards betting on the team that won the Stanley Cup the previous season compared to NFL and compared to NBA, where you sometimes fade the team that won the Super Bowl or NBA championship. In the NHL, usually you actually bet that team. But in this instance, I think that they lost too many guys. And I feel like the guys the Bruins brought in, it's exciting. Hampus Lindholm on the blue line, top pairing blue line, I should say, with Charlie McAvoy. Nikita Zadorov on the third pairing. Like, I feel like if he wasn't playing for a historic franchise like the Boston Bruins, he would say, forget about that. I'm not being the third pairing defenseman. But if you go across the league and you look at all the other third pairing defensemen, and then now you compare them to Nikita Zadorov, it's amazing. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stature, a lot of height, a lot of physicality on that blue line. Charlie McAvoy was on record saying he's the smallest defender that team has, and I think he's like 6'3", 230 or something like that. So he's a big guy. But just going to read these out real quick. These are the guys that left for the Panthers. Brandon Montour went to Seattle. Tarasenko went to Detroit. Ekman Larson went to Toronto. Nick Cousins is gone from the team. Kyle Okposo retires. Steven Lorentz was a good fourth-line player. He went to Toronto. When teams win, they're usually over the salary cap in the playoffs, right? They had to trade away some players. I'm confident the Bruins get the job done. One player prop I will give out for the Bruins, which I really like this one, actually. Charlie Coyle. No Jake DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk is gone. He's over in Vancouver. Charlie Coyle had a great season last year. Kind of an underrated guy. He's playing with Morgan Geekie and Brad Marchand. I think that you put him with those guys, he's going to get some points. So Charlie Coyle, again, another plus money prop there, Jeff. And when you're playing 4 or 5 props, and these are I'm going to start the season off. No client plays with the props. We're very, very small units, being very selective, plus money with them. But as you know, I follow the league so closely. I do want to kind of throw them out there to the world to give my opinions on some of these games. And I think Charlie Coyle is an underrated part of this team. And it won't be long before he's minus 115 to get a point. So that's why I like this one quite a bit.
If you're new to this station or channel and don't know where to find Andrew, which I know no one watching this doesn't know where to find you, head on over to Twitter at McInnis Picks and, of course, at WagerTalk, WT.buzz/AM, of course, to purchase today's play for is the $5, which is going tomorrow, which you'll get to. I'm just pumping the crowd up.
I appreciate
here. And of course,
it.
we got
I
some
appreciate it.
short-term and long-term packages. Final game on the ice. This was a NBA championship many, many years ago when you were just a small young child. Chicago at Utah. No Michael Jordan, no Karl Malone or Mr. Stockton. But the Utah, what is it, hockey team? What are we calling it?
Hockey club, yeah. I mean, it's soon to be named Utah Yeti, though. That's the rumor. That's the rumor I've heard. But I want to ask you something, Jeff, because I'm a big believer in this, and I don't. You tell me if I'm falling into the fan aspect, and I don't mind. But I truly believe, because we saw it even in the first exhibition game when there were a couple of fights and the goals and stuff. I think there's going to be some nerves, but nerves mean excitement. And when you go from playing in a college arena, right, to an actual arena that's jam-packed, all kinds of guys that cannot wait to watch you play. I think these guys, they didn't get the chance to feel like professionals for a year, and it feels like Arizona wasn't really a professional team. I hate to say it, but it's the elephant in the room. The only good news is that they've gotten a lot better. So they kind of they rebuilt for a year when they played at an Arizona campus, and then now they're going to be a lot better this year. But do you agree with me at all? Am I being far-fetched? What do you think about that angle in general? There could be some nerves. I think the Blackhawks could score some goals themselves. I think that both teams could score, but I think there's going to be some nerves for both teams here.
it's no coincidence that Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks are playing this game either. Okay. So
Yes.
I think there's going to be some up and down action, a little nerves early, but I think Mr. Keller, be you here, I think they'll be fine. I think you could actually, and I don't have the number in front of me. They're minus 170 here. But my point is, I would actually take them in the first period minus the hook at some plus money here. I think you're going to get some up and down action. I think Utah is going to be able to put the puck in the net. It's just a matter of what Chicago's going to do. Is there going to be anything you can do, I can do better approach? But I think it's a great spot for Utah. Hats off to NHL. Not only, giving them the standalone at 10 o'clock on opening night, but adding a little sizzle with Connor Bedard here. I mean, team totals on that game, Utah 3.5, juice under minus 125. And again, Chicago 2.5 over minus 120. So all three road teams with that 2.5 over 20 cents. It's the book saying, don't run to the line, Andrew. We got plenty of room over here if you want them to go and score 3 or better. Wink, wink. It's only going to cost you 20 cents.
Right. I mean, that's the thing, that's the thing. And this is the thing. I love what you said there about the NHL, because I got to give them credit too. They've done a lot better lately with stuff like that, Jeff. They really have, scheduling some of these marquee games. You got Bedard on one side. You got the new franchise on the other side. It's really good. And it's a good thing for me that I spent a lot of time with the girlfriend yesterday, because the next few days, I don't know if she's going to see me. I'll be up in the office hiding away or in the TV room watching some games. But yeah, I think we're going to see some goals. I think that there's 2 player props that stick out to me for the Utah Hockey Club. I'm so used to saying the team's nicknames, but there isn't one for them. I keep searching for one that's not there in my head. Dylan Guenther, he just signed an 8-year extension. He's going to be a strong player for this team for quite some time. He had a good record in the AHL, good run when he was there, I should say. Come back up. Real good player for them, led them a lot, scored some big goals for them. He's minus 130 to get a point. Again, we're trying not to lay too much chalk with that. Although on one show I was on, I did say that I think that even though it's minus 160, I don't think Bedard's number should be 2.5 for his shots on goal. I really don't. I think it should be 3.5 plus money to the over. But there's a reason why they're baiting everybody into the 2.5 minus 166. But go ahead, Jeff. Yep.
Now, again, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I do remember opening night, his very first game. It was the most bet prop right in history. It was 2.5. And didn't he have like 10 shots on net the first game?
He did. Yeah. And the funny thing is he didn't get a point, I don't think, but he had like 10 shots on goal. But there's a reason why it's minus 170. But the other one that I liked was actually from a former Bruin, former Devil, former Oiler, Taylor Hall. Plus 114 to get a point. It's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. Like you take a top line guy or even top 6 guy and you put him next to all these other guys. Like, how is Connor Bedard minus 200, but the former MVP of the league is plus 114? You know why? Because everyone's forgotten about Hall. Everybody loves Bedard, right? Plus 115, sign me up for Taylor Hall to get a point. That will be a bet that I'm on. And the good news is, if you like goals in this game, or if you like the Blackhawks, you can sprinkle on a few of these props. Bedard's not going to score 5 goals, guys. He's not going to score all the goals for the Blackhawks. Somebody else, Bertuzzi, Hall, Teravainen, some of those guys will have to do something. But how about the over 1.5 in the first period in that game? If we're going to talk about first periods, that game to me could get off to a fast start. I think both teams could score in that game. I think, like I said, the nerves, the energy around that building, I could see both teams getting on the board in the first period. Wouldn't shock me to see a 1-1 in the first period, honestly.
We got you for a couple minutes before you have to head off to your next show. 2 baseball games, one about to go off in 12 minutes. Where's my eyes here? Philadelphia and the Mets. Actually, 5:08. I'm sorry. Right now, Phillies minus 107. Actually, no, Mets now minus 107. There's been a flip. Phillies minus 103, 7 and under minus 15 cents. Phillies team total 3.5 over minus 125. Mets 3.5 under -135. And then at 9:08, Bueller versus King. Dodgers travel to San Diego. Currently at the Circa, Padres -151. Dodgers +138. Dodgers team total 3.5 -110 either which way. Padres 4.5 juiced under -135. Before you depart to your next show, anything in baseball catch your eye?
I kind of like the under in the Phillies game and the Phillies Mets. I just think it's going to be one of those games where it goes down to the wire. The thing is with baseball right now, it could be 1-0 in the 8th inning and they could finish 7-6. That's the crazy thing about how baseball's working right now, Jeff. I've been sitting on the sidelines, haven't been watching too much or betting too much of it. But I see that 7 at some books, and the 7 flat. It's like that for a reason. I think the under's the move here in that game. That's where I'd go. And as far as Dodgers Padres, Walker Bueller on the mound. You know what happens when Bueller's on the mound? Everyone loves to go against them. Give me the Dodgers team total over. That's where I want to go here. I think they're going to get some runs. They're going to get theirs. It's just a matter of really what the Padres are going to do in return. So what's the best number you can get from me? I'm seeing right now like -110, something like that. What are you seeing for the Dodgers? Yeah, around that.
Yeah, that's probably what you're going to get. You could have got them even money earlier today, maybe right after lunch, and there's some money coming in on that play. You're right. This is the season for the Padres. They got their race on the mound, and it's not Walker Bueller, it's Ferris Bueller. That's how bad he's been pitching. And again, you're on the contrarian side, but I like the fact what you're doing here is the Dodgers are guaranteed 9 innings. They're guaranteed 27 outs where the Padres aren't. So maybe get a little crooked number up early. You know, the lefties there with Shohei or Freeman take advantage of that. But I like where your eyes are there. Scroller's been going the whole time. At McInnis Picks, at WagerTalk. Go over to YouTube at McInnis Picks, of course. Promo this week, $5 Tuesday, WT.buzz/AM. The stage is yours, sir.
Oh, Jeff, I just got to thank you for giving me a stage twice today, coming on with you, talking your ear off, and you can hopefully tell how excited I really am. So $5, look, only 3 games tonight. Tuesday night, so I decided to make my $5 play a game on Wednesday, but that price goes back to regular at midnight. So I know you want to pay for a pick and it be tonight, but if you want to get that pick, get it for $5 for tomorrow. It's my NHL goal fest of the day, so an over I really like tomorrow. 2 defenses I expect to kind of be exposed a little bit tomorrow night on Wednesday in the NHL. Also, promo code I just received a little while ago, PUCK15, PUCK 15 will take $15 off a 7-day NHL pass. So, Jeff, look forward to having you with me on Friday.
Yes, sir. We'll confirm a time. Hopefully we get back to that early morning shift, but if not, we'll figure it out. How's that?
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, best of luck. Andrew McInnis at McInnis Picks at WagerTalk, the best in the business. We've been doing shows forever, and it's just a joy. Give him a holler and says, hey, can you do me a solid? And boom, he's here. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. I promise. We're going to break down one more game, and then we're going to head out, and we'll give you the recap of what to look for tomorrow. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop, come on, take me higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Again, shout out to Andrew McInnis, who was here this morning for the breakfast bankroll, his usual 10 a.m. Eastern today. There, and then came back at it. Riley is in Vegas with the bride-to-be for a few days. Yesterday, Scotty Webb came in before. It's getting ready now, obviously, for Hurricane Milton. And Andrew comes in today. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, Brady Tinker. I know you guys know him. The Voice, ESPN, ESPN Radio, Fox Sports Radio, all these places he's in. Like Flynn did so many years with the Dallas Cowboys, good friends with Jordan Spieth, Mark Cuban, just one of my all-time greats. He'll be here from 4 to 5. We're going to talk about Dallas Cowboys, and we'll talk about the undefeated 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, it doesn't matter what happens to them. Andy Reid and Patrick Holmes, they're just unfathomable. I saw this for 2 decades. Okay, so the Brady, as much as the Patriot Wonkas and Nation don't want to hear this, what we witnessed for 2 decades with Tom and Bill, you kind of witnessing it right now. Might be a little faster version of it. They're going to lose some games. Looks like Racey Rice now gone for the season. I haven't heard. Pacheco's going to be out for a couple months, of course, and Hollywood Brown. So potentially Devontae Adams to the Jets. I don't know. I'm hearing Ravens as the favorites, which that would kind of Devontae one side, Zay Flowers, double tight ends, Mark Andrews and Lively. You got O. Henry in the backfield. Look out there. So I wanted to bring everyone back here because we talk about you don't have to bet every game individually. You can look for some value. And value is only value when you cash a ticket. So social media destroys that word here. But I want to show you what I'm talking about here. Okay. So the Padres today are minus 151. King versus Buehler, they have a pitching advantage. They have a back end advantage, okay? But that's not, I don't want you running to the window to play the Padres minus 151. I don't want you running to the window to play the Padres minus 1.5. I know some people that are on the Padres minus the hook in the first 5. That's okay. But I like what Andrew said here. No one's talking about the Dodgers. They're just supposed to roll over and die. And there's going to be some animosity going on here. So the Padres could be a little too jacked up here. But here's what I'm going to tell you. If you like the Padres tonight, go take the Padres minus 120 in the series. Why do I say that? Well, because you'll be up 2-1. You'll have game 4 at home. And if you have to, you go back to the Dodgers for game 5. And if my math is correct, I assume Darvish will be back there. It'll be all hands on decks. King will be ready to. So don't lay the 151 tonight, guys. If you like the Padres tonight, take the Padres minus 120 in the series. Now, the other series is a little tighter. It's interesting. The overnight number was Nola minus 115. Now it's the Mets minus 107. I asked someone a trivia question. When was the last time the Mets played at home? I mean, they played a doubleheader in Atlanta on Monday. They went to Milwaukee and played 3 games. Now they just went to Philadelphia and played 2. So it's been a while since they've been back home. It's Nola versus Manaea. Series price. Philly is now minus 131, and the Mets are plus 120. So I didn't play the Mets from Jump Street because I thought they were going to lose game 1, and shame on me. Of course, they win game 1, and I could have had them at plus 160. Well, they lose game 2. So now you got the coin flip here. If you like Philly today, there's no problem for you to go in minus 103. I get that. But again, you're not going to get a series price either at minus 131. So like I said in the last series, kind of the same here. If you like the Phillies today, you can lay the 103, or you can get a nice price on them currently at minus 131 to win the series. So you'll be up 2-1. Okay, you're up 2-1. You're guaranteed at worst to go back home in front of those crazies. And it sounds like, if my math is correct, Wheeler will be ready for that game. Okay, unless they 1, 2, 3, unless Wheeler goes in game 4 here, which he could as well. So again, just take a look at those series prices before we start pushing it all in there. Game 5, winner take all, Connecticut against Minnesota, opened at 3.5, now 4 with a 150 in the hook. Winner go home. Winner goes to the WNBA championship. So good luck there. And do I have anything else for you? I think that will do it. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, Brady Kannon is here. Gave out Kevin Yu 120-1 last week in the PGA. He wins in a playoff. So congrats to Brady Kannon. Congrats to anyone that followed him. We do golf shows every Wednesday with Brady. So Brady will be back with some golf, some NFL, some circuit talk. And then at 11:30, Tyler Wyatt will be back at Tyler Wyatt Bets talking college football. And then 4 o'clock, Brady Tinker. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investor, the one and only Andrew McInnis, who has left the building on his Zamboni, at McInnis Picks at WagerTalk. We thank you all. Have an amazing night. Enjoy opening night in hockey, guys. Enjoy the Major League Baseball as well, playoffs, and we'll see you in the morning. Oh, P.S. I'm on Sports Grid, 8:32 with Scott Wetzel and Dave Sharapin. That was it. So see you at on Sports Grid. Take care.